Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Longhorn Radio.
We are your co-hosts, Desi Bonev
and Shreya Sinone, and welcome to episode 4, the school sports season.
We hope you all had a chance to relax over the break and fuel up for the second semester.
Before we hop into today's discussion, quick reminder that Monday the 18th is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and there will be no school.
Today we will be talking about Lee's sports season this year and how COVID-19 affected it.
Amidst the coronavirus pandemic, we were super excited that this very prevalent topic was requested by our two guests.
And now, joining us today are Natalie and Rachel McCarroll. Hi, guys!
Hi, I'm Natalie.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves a bit? Just tell us what grade you're in and what sports you play.
I'm Natalie, and I am a sophomore at Lee, and I play volleyball, basketball, and I swim on the swim team.
And I'm Rachel. I'm a senior at Lee, and I play volleyball and basketball, as well as that. And I also play softball for Lee and club softball.
So you both have had a full year at Lee without this weird pandemic, or almost a full year. So we have very experienced student athletes here today to talk about this with us. As many of you already know, due to the coronavirus, Lee has canceled their fall and winter season sports for this school year.
That's right, and this unfortunate news has really affected many of Lee's student athletes, including Rachel and Natalie, of course. So why don't you guys tell us about how this has changed your overall school experience this year, and when did you guys start to find out that your season might not happen?
Yeah, so, last year as a freshman going into high school, it was definitely a change with classes and school and the workload and everything. And sports on top of that made our schedules really busy, but in a way it almost helped us stay more organized because we had to make sure we got to everything on time and get everything done and keep a GPA to actually play our sports. So it's just a really different feel being online because you don't have that anymore.
Right.
For me, as a senior going into my senior season, to think that my junior games for softball, volleyball, and basketball were the last ones that I would ever really play was really, really tough to kind of comprehend. I played sports, so has Natalie, our entire lives, and so it's been part of who we are, and it definitely shapes how we, see the world and how we shape our schedules. For me, as an athlete who aspires to go play at the college level, the recruiting process has also been really quite altered by COVID because we weren't able to go play this summer at all and showcase in front of college coaches. And that is a big part of trying to play at the next level. So it was a lot of footage, a lot of individual work versus the team and coach atmosphere that you usually get when you play sports. So that was another big change in trying to get into the college process.
I'm so sorry about your senior season. I know it's the best season for athletes and it's a lot of people's favorites, and there's so many fun things you can do when you're a senior in sports. But you also talked a lot about how a lot of opportunities were taken away from the whole selection process for college. Could you talk a little more about some opportunities you've seen your friends struggle with or have been taken away from this, or yourself, or some of the opportunities in general that you see have been taken away from student athletes by skipping these seasons?
I think, these high school seasons, they're not only used for working out and exercise, but it's also a very big part of our culture.
Social life.
Social life, culture, yes. Being on a team is something that Natalie and I are so used to, and it's definitely changed how we've had to go from an environment of being in a close kind of knit team to at home by ourselves doing our own thing. And I mean, the ability to improve together as a team, the ability to be coached by great coaches, and for me, play my last seasons of volleyball and basketball probably ever, at least organized. has been, taken away from us. And I just feel for the rest of the senior athletes who have lost their season as well, and kind of their last opportunity to leave a mark on Lee as an athlete.
I totally agree. I feel like it's not just for the seniors too, but so many freshmen missed out on this experience because I remember as a freshman I played two sports at Lee. I did tennis and swim, and I was a new kid. I didn't go to Union or Dartmouth, and the tennis season is at the very beginning, and it really helped kickstart that really awkward new kid moment where I didn't know absolutely anyone. And it's just you're invited to this team and you're like suddenly part of this family, and it happens so quick. And I'm so sad that the seniors won't have their senior season, but also all the freshmen who can't go into Lee this year with that kind of feeling. The student athletes, that is, but I really feel for them as well.
Yeah, if I can add to that really quick, last year as a freshman playing 3 sports, it definitely was a lot, but it gave me an opportunity to meet so many new people, know a lot more people on campus, have that team bond. It was just a great experience going into high school. And I definitely feel for all the freshmen, but even the sophomore and juniors that didn't get to play a sport last year, or their sports season got cut in spring, or just they got cut from the team and they wanted to try again, or they're trying a new sport. It's just playing sports, especially at Lee, of such a family aspect, and for that to not happen this year is definitely something a lot of people miss.
Yeah, I bet. And just out of curiosity, how long have you guys been playing sports, like in general?
Natalie and I have been playing sports since we could walk, basically.
Wow.
We've tried everything you can imagine, and we stuck with it.
So you must be like really attached to it, and like I can't even imagine. Like, I don't play sports. I am just not that athletic person. I'm lanky. I don't even I don't even know. But I bet that's super hard for you. And but we just want to know, like, what did your coaches try to do to get around the obstacles that COVID gave you?
So I know a lot of coaches at Lee have tried to do some online conditioning, but also kind of include some in person as the COVID regulations allow us to. Personally, our volleyball coaches did a virtual conditioning, so we got to get our conditioning set out for us, and we would have to do it at home and send it in that we did it. So it was just a really different way to condition, but it was the best they could do. And one thing about conditioning online instead of in person is you don't get the like excitement of being with your team, right, or the competition. It's kind of just like by yourself in your house. It's not the same, but that's the best they could do.
I also think like a big thing for athletes just in general is self-motivation and wanting to get better and just that drive. So although the COVID situation has been really unfavorable for athletes, I think it's been a really good test to see who's in it to win it and who really wants to, reach their goals athletic wise and push themselves. So whenever they get the chance to, or they get the go to play and play on a team, they could just be ready to hit the floor and go up from there.
I also wanted to ask you guys what you thought. We're skipping so many sports seasons. How do you guys think this is going to affect the future sports seasons when we can, hopefully next year, when we can be near one another and we can hit the ball without having to stay 6 feet apart? How do you feel that skipping these seasons is going to affect all the athletes at Lee?
It's really going to make an impact for all of the freshmen that don't get to get their names out there, get to meet coaches, start a relationship, get on a team. Not only freshmen, but all grades, they don't get that. And so for next year, with a ton of more new faces on top of all of the people that wanted to try out this year that didn't get a chance to, plus the new incoming class and the addition of anyone else also, it's just going to change the competition level, and it's also going to be a real test to see who's stayed in shape, who's worked on individually, which will also be a contribution to the tryout process too.
I completely agree with that. That's very, very true. So just going off of that, do you guys have any advice for student athletes whose sports or sport was canceled this season?
Yes. I mean, as a senior, obviously, if sports ever come back to Lee, it's kind of, take that season like it's your last, right? Because I wasn't aware that my junior season was going to be my last. So
Mm-hmm.
just be ready for whatever it throws at you and be willing to work hard and putting 100% of your heart into it, because that's all you can do. And just, work and work and work and be a good teammate. And I think all those things will help the player mindset and just achieve the athletic goals of the Lee community.
That's great. Natalie, do you have anything?
Yeah, also when you're playing a sport, doing what you love with all of your friends there, all of your teammates, the competitions in games or practices, just take it all in. You need a lot of motivation coming off of this really rough year, but just take it all in. Take every piece of advice you get from your coaches. As Rachel said, be a great teammate. They're going to be lifelong friends you make. And it's just a really good experience for everyone. So just kind of take it all in and make it memorable. And as Rachel said too, play it like it's your last.
It looks like we lost Shreya here for a second, but you guys are giving really great advice. I feel like I think we live kind of nearby, because sometimes I see you guys running around in the neighborhood or working out. And just to top it off with all the advice, what are some tips you have for student athletes who are trying to stay in shape right now? What are some ways that they can get out of the bed and get some motivation to go outside? Kind of like a motivator for us real quick, because you guys are doing such a great job, well, from what I see, but it looks like you guys are very dedicated and really in love with what you do. So what do you have for the student athletes who are listening?
I think it's hard sometimes to get out of bed and get going, but I know we all have New Year's resolutions, so maybe getting out more could be one. Also, just being online all day and sitting at my desk is not where I want to be. So, getting outside, taking a quick walk, a quick jog, even just a bike ride, skateboarding, anything to get outside is, good. And if another thing is whenever sports come back, and if they do come back, you want to be able to show that you've been working, right? You want to be able to make the team, you want to be that top candidate, and you want to show them that you deserve that spot because you've been working hard and working out a lot. And I think if you really, really want it that bad, just getting out, running, doing some at-home workouts. There's so many you can find on Pinterest and Safari. Just type it in. Or if you have a friend who has a basketball hoop, if you're into basketball, go play some basketball, grab a couple friends, grab a volleyball net, a volleyball. There's so many tools and so many people you can ask to just get out and start working on what you want to work on.
Yeah, definitely. Also, to add on to that, it's really much more of a motivation to set a routine. When you have a routine, it allows your body to adjust. It allows your body to realize, oh, this is the time I'm dedicating my day to work out. And that being said, you can push yourself. So you can, once you set your routine, maybe you say, I'm going to up my amount of repetition or number of sets, or I'm going to run an extra mile the next week. So setting that routine can really help you push yourself, but also make yourself kind of get into the feel of working out, because we don't have sports practices and games every week. So setting a routine for yourself, maybe switching up your workouts on different days, kind of setting a plan for yourself, it's super helpful when you're kind of at that lack of motivation to get out of bed. Having a routine, making yourself, well, this would be the one day I would miss, that doesn't like settle with you. So it would help you be motivated to get out of bed and do your workout or whatever you're going to do. Even just getting up and stretching and drinking water, those are all things great for your body, and having that routine just makes them that much easier.
That is such good advice. It is really, really true. And I feel like I've witnessed it firsthand. I know finals week of last semester, I was not going outside. I was in my room, cooped up, studying. And I also felt my mental health kind of like taking a toll in the fact that I was not getting out. And then I had winter break and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get back on it. I'm going to start exercising. And the first day was literal hell. I could not move. I was cramping afterwards. I barely did any running. And, I started to get out like more and more, not even every single day, but I saw that the more I did it, the better it got, not just because of the practice, but also the routine I started setting for myself. It really helped my brain kind of tell myself, it's time to get out. You did it yesterday, you're going to do it again today. So that is genuinely such great advice. And I hope the people listening, even if you're not an athlete, but it's good for all of us to get outside, especially now. So I know it helped me, and I think that was a great thing to kind of bring to this podcast, to this episode. Any other last thoughts you guys might have before we wrap this up?
I did. Oh, sorry. Natalie, you can go first.
Okay. Well, one more thing to add for me is I've been through some phases during online learning or distance learning, and some days it's the start of the week, you don't want to get up, you don't want to do your workout, but I promise that the more you do it, the more repetition, it does get easier. And that might sound kind of cliche, but once you get going, like your body has adjusted, it's just going to be so much easier, and you can see progress too. It's just going to be worth it, and your body's going to feel better, your mind's going to feel better, and it's going to just be a really great experience for you.
It really becomes a habit. If I could say so myself, I've established a really good routine for me in the beginning of the school year, and I've stuck with it. And I just, every day, it makes me feel that much better. Even on Fridays when I am tired and I have done this routine every single day, I'm just like, you know what? I did it, and now I have the weekend, and now I can do other things to keep my body in shape and keep working on my athletic skills. But it's a cycle, and it becomes almost weird if I don't do it. So
yeah.
Pre-COVID life, I was on a outside of school like competitive dance team, and not being able to go there like because of COVID was just awful. And like what Natalie said about creating a routine, like after that I felt lost, but like after that I was like warming up a bit and I was working out, and like that really helped. So yeah.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today and for wanting to be on this podcast. We really appreciate it. You guys were amazing guests. We're so happy to have you. And you guys shared some amazing thoughts with us in the Longhorns. So thank you guys so much for coming on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Of course, thank you. And before we send you off, don't forget to follow the Lean News YouTube channel and family Instagram account for Lean News updates and more podcast updates. And guess what? You can be a future guest and join us to discuss a topic of your choice by filling out the form linked in the family Instagram bio and your school email.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Longhorn Radio. See you guys next week.
This has been Longhorn Radio.
Desi
And Shreya signing out.